A dam is a barrier that stops or restricts the flow of surface water or underground streams. Reservoirs created by dams not only suppress floods but also provide water for activities such as irrigation, human consumption, industrial use, aquaculture and navigability. Hydropower is often used in conjunction with dams to generate electricity. A dam can also be used to collect or store water which can be evenly distributed between locations. Dams generally serve the primary purpose of retaining water, while other structures such as floodgates or levees, also known as dikes, are used to manage or prevent water flow into specific land regions. Ancient dams were built in Mesopotamia and the Middle East for water control. The earliest known dam is the Jawa Dam in Jordan, dating to 3000 BC. Egyptians also built dams, such as the Sad el Kafara Dam for flood control. In modern-day India, Dholavira had an intricate water management system with 16 reservoirs and dams. The Great Dam of Marib in Yemen, built between 1750 and 1700 BC, was an engineering wonder, and Eflatun Pinar, a Hittite dam and spring temple in Turkey, dates to the 15th and 13th centuries BC. The Kalanai Dam in South India, built in the 2nd century AD, is one of the oldest water-regulating structures still in use. Roman engineers built dams with advanced techniques and materials, such as hydraulic mortar and Roman concrete, which allowed for larger structures. They introduced reservoir dams, arch-gravity dams, arch dams, buttress dams, and multiple arch buttress dams. In Iran, bridge dams were used for hydropower and water-raising mechanisms. During the Middle Ages, dams were built in the Netherlands to regulate water levels and prevent sea intrusion. In the 19th century, large-scale arch dams were constructed around the British Empire, marking advances in dam engineering techniques. The era of large dams began with the construction of the Aswan Low Dam in Egypt in 1902. The Hoover Dam, a massive concrete arch-gravity dam, was built between 1931 and 1936 on the Colorado River. By 1997, there were an estimated 800,000 dams worldwide, with some 40,000 of them over 15 meters high. Ancient dams. Early dam building took place in Mesopotamia and the Middle East. Dams were used to control water levels, for Mesopotamia's weather affected the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The earliest known dam is the Jawa Dam in Jordan, 100 kilometers northeast of the capital Amman. This gravity dam featured an originally 9-meter high and 1-meter wide stone wall supported by a 50-meter wide earthen rampart. The structure is dated to 3000 BC. However, the oldest continuously operational dam is Lake Homs Dam, built in Syria between 1319 and 1304 BC. The ancient Egyptian Sad el Kafara Dam at Wadi al-Gharawi, about 25 kilometers south of Cairo, was 102 meters long at its base and 87 meters wide. The structure was built around 2800 or 2600 BC as a diversion dam for flood control, but was destroyed by heavy rain during construction or shortly afterwards. During the 12th dynasty in the 19th century BC, the pharaohs Senusert III, Amenemhat III, and Amenemhat IV dug a canal 16 kilometers long, linking the Fayum Depression to the Nile in Middle Egypt. Two dams called Ha'uar, running east-west, were built to retain water during the annual flood and then release it to surrounding lands. The lake, called Merwer or Lake Moris, covered 1,700 square kilometers and is known today as Burkit Karun. By the mid-late 3rd millennium BC, an intricate water management system in Dholavira in modern-day India was built. The system included 16 reservoirs, dams, and various channels for collecting water and storing it. One of the engineering wonders of the ancient world was the Great Dam of Marib in Yemen. Initiated sometime between 1750 and 1700 BC, it was made of packed earth, triangular in cross-section, 580 meters in length and originally 4 meters high, running between two groups of rocks on either side, to which it was linked by substantial stonework. Repairs were carried out during various periods, most importantly around 750 BC, and 250 years later the dam height was increased to 7 meters. After the end of the Kingdom of Saba, the dam fell under the control of the Himyarites circa 115 BC, who undertook further improvements, creating a structure 14 meters high with 5 spillways, 2 masonry-reinforced sluices, a settling pond, and a 1,000-meter canal to a distribution tank. These works were not finished until 325 AD when the dam permitted the irrigation of 25,000 acres. Eflatun Pinar is a Hittite dam and spring temple near Konya, Turkey. It is thought to date from the Hittite Empire between the 15th and 13th centuries BC. The Kalana is constructed of unhewn stone over 300 meters long, 4.5 meters high and 20 meters wide across the main stream of the Kaveri River in Tamil Nadu, South India. The basic structure dates to the 2nd century AD and is considered one of the oldest water diversion or water regulating structures still in use. The purpose of the dam was to divert the waters of the Kaveri across the fertile delta region for irrigation via canals. Roman engineering truly showcased the Romans' ability to plan and organize engineering construction on a grand scale. The Roman dam at Cornalvo in Spain, still in use after almost 2 millennia, is a testament to their engineering prowess. They introduced the novel concept of large reservoir dams, securing a permanent water supply for urban settlements over the dry season. Their pioneering use of waterproof hydraulic mortar, and particularly Roman concrete, allowed for much larger dam structures than previously built, such as the Lake Homs Dam and the Harbacca Dam, both in Roman Syria. The Subiaco Dam near Rome was the highest Roman dam, standing at a record height of 50 meters, a record that stood until its accidental destruction in 1305. Roman engineers also routinely used ancient standard designs like embankment dams and masonry gravity dams. Moreover, they displayed a high degree of inventiveness, introducing most of the other basic dam designs which were unknown until then, including arch gravity dams, arch dams, buttress dams, and multiple arch buttress dams, all of which were employed by the 2nd century AD. Roman workforces were also the first to build dam bridges, such as the Bridge of Valerian in Iran. In Iran, bridge dams like the Bande Kaisar were used to provide hydropower through water wheels, often powering water-raising mechanisms. One of the first was the Roman-built dam bridge in Desful, which could raise water 50 cubits to supply the town. Also known were diversion dams and milling dams, introduced as the Puli Bulati by Muslim engineers. The first of these was built at Shustar on the River Karun, Iran, and many of these were later constructed in other parts of the Islamic world. Water was conducted from the back of the dam through a large pipe to drive a water wheel and watermill. By the 10th century, Al-Muqaddasi described several dams in Persia, noting that one in Awaz was more than 910 meters long, and it had many water wheels raising the water into aqueducts flowing into reservoirs of the city. In the Middle Ages, particularly in the Netherlands, a country known for its low-lying geography, dams were often built to block rivers to regulate the water level and prevent the sea from entering the marshlands. Such dams often marked the beginning of a town or city because it was easy to cross the river at such a place, and this often influenced Dutch place names. The present Dutch capital, Amsterdam, started with a dam on the river Amstel in the late 12th century, and Rotterdam began with a dam on the river Rotte, a minor tributary of the Nieuwe Maas. The central square of Amsterdam, covering the original site of the 800-year-old dam, still carries the name Dam Square. The Industrial Revolution marked significant advancements in dam construction. Although the Romans were the first to build arch dams, it was only in the 19th century that the engineering skills and construction materials available were capable of building the first large-scale arch dams. 3 pioneering arch dams were built around the British Empire in the early 19th century. Henry Russell of the Royal Engineers oversaw the construction of the Mir Alam Dam in 1804 to supply water to the city of Hyderabad, which is still in use today, featuring a height of 12 meters and consisting of 21 arches of variable span. In the 1820s and 30s, Lieutenant Colonel John By supervised the construction of the Rideau Canal in Canada, near modern-day Ottawa, and built a series of curved masonry dams as part of the waterway system. In particular, the Jones Falls Dam, built by John Redpath, was completed in 1832 as the largest dam in North America and an engineering marvel. To manage the water during construction, 2 sluices were kept open in the dam. The first was near the base of the dam on its east side, A second sluice was put in on the west side of the dam, about 20 feet above the base. To make the switch from the lower to upper sluice, the outlet of Sand Lake was blocked off. In Australia, Hunts Creek near the city of Parramatta was dammed in the 1850s to cater to the demand for water from the growing population. The masonry arch dam wall, designed by Lieutenant Percy Simpson, was influenced by advances in dam engineering techniques made by the Royal Engineers in India. The dam was completed in 1856 as the first engineered dam built in Australia and the second arch dam in the world built to mathematical specifications. The first such dam was opened 2 years earlier in France. It was the first French arch dam of the industrial era, built by François Zola in Aix-en-Provence to improve the water supply after the 1832 cholera outbreak devastated the area. After royal approval was granted in 1844, its construction was carried out based on the mathematical results of scientific stress analysis. The 75 miles dam near Warwick, Australia, was possibly the world's first concrete arch dam. The modern era of dam building began with the construction of the Aswan Low Dam in Egypt in 1902, a gravity masonry buttress dam on the Nile River. Following their 1882 invasion and occupation of Egypt, the British began construction in 1898. The project, designed by Sir William Wilcox and involving several eminent engineers, including Sir Benjamin Baker and Sir John Aird, whose firm, John Aird and Company, was the main contractor. Capital and financing were furnished by Ernest Cassell. When initially constructed between 1899 and 1902, nothing of its scale had ever before been attempted. On completion, it was the largest masonry dam in the world. The Hoover Dam, a massive concrete arch gravity dam, was constructed in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River, on the border between the U.S. states of Arizona and Nevada between 1931 and 1936 during the Great Depression. In 1928, Congress authorized the project to build a dam that would control floods, provide irrigation water, and produce hydroelectric power. The winning bid to build the dam was submitted by a consortium called Six Companies, Inc. Such a large concrete structure had never been built before, and some of the techniques were unproven. The torrid summer weather and the lack of facilities near the site also presented difficulties. Nevertheless, Six Companies turned over the dam to the federal government on March 1, 1936, more than 2 years ahead of schedule. By 1997, there were an estimated 800,000 dams worldwide, some 40,000 of them over 15 meters high. In 2014, scholars from the University of Oxford published a study of the cost of large dams based on the largest existing dataset, documenting significant cost overruns for a majority of dams and questioning whether benefits typically offset costs for such dams.